What's up, guys? It's Cody, Powerstroke Project. Today I want to talk to you guys about the cost of owning a 7.3 liter Powerstroke, how expensive it is to daily drive a 7.3 liter Powerstroke. So if you're watching this video, chances are you're interested in buying one. Maybe you're looking for it already, or you're thinking about maybe starting to look for one to buy one. So I just wanted to kind of talk to you about the price of it, the cost of daily driving it in terms of, I'm going to go over fuel, registration, tires, fuel additives, insurance, everything. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the price of the truck. Now, obviously, if you're already looking for one, then you already know these trucks are not cheap, especially if you want to buy one that is in good condition, has low miles. You're going to spend a pretty good amount of money on it. I mean, if it has under 100,000 miles and it's in good condition, like the previous owner took care of it, you could spend up to $20,000 no problem. I've seen them with like 60,000 miles in really good condition with lift kits and wheels on them for like $25,000, $26,000, $27,000. So right there, you're already spending a pretty good amount on the truck. But the reason why they're pretty expensive is because the 7.3s are known for being pretty reliable. Now you can also get one with a lot of miles. The one I had before this had about 230,000 miles and it never had any problems. And you can get one, it wasn't in very good condition. You could get one of those for like $10,000 to $12,000 if you just want a reliable truck and you're just going to use it to maybe haul or something like that. Then that's an option. Mine had about 130,000 miles on it when I bought it, so I paid a little more, but I wanted a nice truck. So the next thing I want to talk about is the registration. These trucks are huge and they weigh a lot, especially mine's a crew cab long bed. So for me, and I'm in California, so I think it's a little more here. I think they have an extra tax on it here. Freaking train. But I pay, I think, $300 a year on registration. And now you have to smog your diesel every other year. So that's another $80 every other year to smog it. Next is fuel. Now, diesel fuel, unfortunately, it used to be cheaper than gas. Now it's more expensive for some stupid reason here in California anyways. Right now, if you have a little car and you get like 87 octane from Arco, you're paying it's like $2.99 a gallon right now for gas. But if you have a diesel and you're putting Chevron diesel in it, it's like $3.80 a gallon. A couple months ago, it was like $4.10 a gallon. To fill up this truck from completely empty was like $150, $160 at that time. Right now it's about $130 maybe. I don't really let it get even close to empty. I usually fill it up when it's got like half to a quarter tank left. So that's, take that into consideration. But from empty, I've had it get pretty low and it's like $150. So there's also the fuel additives. The new California laws made them require diesel to be low sulfur, and from what I've read, done my research on, it wears out your O-rings and seals and dries them out faster. So you want to add some type of lubricant or injector cleaner and lubricant to your gas tank. So I add either two-stroke oil. There's a half a quart they sell at Walmart, a half a quart of two-stroke oil for like $2 or $3. I add a half a quart every time I fill up. Or for $4 is the Lucas fuel injector cleaner. I'll add that every tank. So that's not much, $3 or $4 a tank when you're filling up for $100 to $150 every time. But you do want to take that in consideration. It's something extra. If you have a little car like a Honda Civic or some other little sedan, you don't really have to do that. That's it's already a lot more in fuel economy and price of diesel, and then you have to, you should add some type of additive. The other thing is fuel economy. Obviously, I read some guys get like 16, 17 miles per gallon, 18 miles per gallon city, 20, 22 highway with these 7.3s. But I think, first of all, I think a lot of those guys have stock wheels and tires. And second, I think a lot of them live in like more rural areas where there's less traffic. It's not so congested. I live in Southern California in LA County. And with all the traffic, I get 10 miles per gallon city, and if I'm pretty good on the gas pedal, I can get like 15 highway. So that's not very good. So fuel is obviously more expensive, and your fuel economy is worse. So take that into consideration if you're thinking about buying one. Another thing to take into consideration is expensive oil changes. Now, if you use the T6 full synthetic motor oil for these, the Rotella for these 7.3s, I think it's more expensive. I think you're going to end up paying for 15 quarts and an oil filter like 60, 70, 80 bucks. And if you get it done for you, it's going to cost you like, I don't know, 100, 120 bucks to get it done for you with that oil. I use Rotella, I think it's T4, which is the non-synthetic. It's like 50 bucks for the 15 quarts of oil and an oil filter, and I change it myself. So 50 bucks isn't too bad, but a little car is probably going to run you like $20 or $30 to buy the oil and the filter and do the oil change yourself. So that's not too bad, but it is a little more expensive. Again, this truck takes 15 quarts. Little cars, so you'll take what, 3-4 quarts or something like that. So just take that into consideration also. The other important thing to remember is tires. Tires are so much more expensive on a truck like this, especially for me. I have 37-inch Toyos, Toyo open country mud terrains. For a set of all 4 tires is $1,600. For a Corolla, it's like $350 bucks for a set of tires, or for a little sedan car. So $1,600. And I've had these tires for about a year, and I would say they're probably somewhere around 50% worn out. So you'll figure $1,600 on tires every 2 to 3 years, depending on how much you drive. And I don't drive a lot. I put on at the most 5,000 miles a year. I don't drive very much, but still, after a year, I might have another 65% left on my tires, but it's getting pretty close to 50%. So keep that in mind. Tires are expensive, and if you have big tires like mine, big soft mud terrain tires, they wear down faster too. Another important thing is insurance. My dream car is a Corvette. I want like a C6, which is 2005 to 2012, I think. And I got a quote for my insurance, and it was actually like $5 cheaper with the Corvette than it was like a 2007 Corvette. It was like $5 cheaper than this 2001 truck. Why? Because they said that this truck is so much bigger and weighs so much more, they expect there to be more damage in the event of an accident, especially to another car. If I hit another car, I'm much more likely to total it and do a lot of damage compared to hitting someone with a Corvette. So insurance is a little more expensive because of the size and weight of this vehicle. And then also transmissions. Now, if you have like a stock one of these, or you have it on like 35-inch tires and you don't really tow that much, I think you're going to average a transmission every 120,000 miles. So if you have big tires, or you put 40s on here, and especially if you tow a boat or a big toy hauler or a trailer often, or you haul a bunch of stuff in the bed and you got big tires and you drive hard, you can go through a transmission much faster. A factory or stock transmission, a rebuilt transmission, 60 to 80,000 miles in sometimes. So I'm not too sure exactly. Every case is different. Even one guy with 40s, his transmission could last longer than some of the stock wheels, just because of the way they drive, or not letting it warm up in the morning, or whatever it is. But you do go through transmissions in these things every once in a while, as opposed to a little car. The transmission can last as long as the motor. So pretty much the last little thing that I can think of to mention is really small, but just washing your truck. Now, if you have a little car, like again, a Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic, Nissan Altima, whatever, you can drive through any like $5 car wash. It runs through, it washes it for you, dries it for you. Or you can go to the self-washing stations and you can put in like the $2 that you get for like 4 minutes and spray it down real quick, and then hand dry it with a towel. But with a truck like this, I have to get at the minimum the $5 wash in the drive-through self-serve ones. So it's $5, but I'm still doing it myself. And that gives me enough time to spray it with the soap water, and then I spray off the brush to make sure there's no dirt or rocks in it, and then I wipe my truck with the brush pretty quick, and then I come back with the high pressure water with no soap, rinse all the soap and dirt off. And then it has a low pressure spot free rinse that I use. I think it's deionized water. And then I walk around the truck with the low pressure water, and then when the truck air dries, it doesn't really get water spots. But take into consideration that, you know, if you want this thing to be washed at somewhere where they do it for you, you're gonna probably spend a lot more than you would for a little car. And also, if you want to get your truck detailed, professionally detailed, a car might cost $100, and a truck, you know, they might want to charge you $150 up to $200 for a good detail inside and out, wheels and tires and stuff like that. So take that into consideration as well. That's pretty much everything I can think of. Now, in terms of whether or not it's worth it to drive a truck like this, to daily drive a truck like this, really comes down to your finances and preferences. For me personally, I think it's worth it. It's not cheap, but I can afford it because I'm good with my money in other ways. I don't waste my money on other dumb things, so I can afford to drive a truck like this. And then I've always driven trucks. I've never owned a car in my life. When I was a senior in high school and bought my first vehicle, it was a little truck. And then I went on to a bigger truck, and now this truck, crew cab, long bed, diesel, stuff like that. I've always had big trucks. I like it. I like seeing over everything. I like seeing the curbs. I don't feel like I have any blind spots, and you know, sometimes I can go over curbs or over parking stops, or, you know, whatever I need to do. But with a car, I just feel like there's a lot more blind spots. I can't see how far I am from the curb as well. I feel like everybody's above me, and it just doesn't feel right to me. I enjoy driving the truck. Anytime if I need to go buy something big, I can throw it in the bed. So you pay a little more to daily drive it, but I think there is a convenience factor. But there's also the opposite of the convenience factor, because there's only like 2 fast food restaurants around me that I can actually go through the drive-through. Most drive-throughs I can't fit through, or I can't make the turn because of my turning radius, because my tires rub if I crank it all the way. You know, stuff like that. I don't fit into some small parking lots, or I can't make it in and out of small parking lots, or the spots aren't big enough, stuff like that. So, you know, it's all stuff to take into consideration. But for me, like I said, I've been driving trucks my whole life. I've been driving this truck for a couple years. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, to be honest with you, I can make it fit in almost any parking lot. I've never really pulled into a parking lot where there's spots available and I'm like, damn, I can't park anywhere in here unless the other cars are like taking over the lines or something. But if the spot's open, I can back into it. I've done it in almost every parking lot I've ever been in, so it's not really a problem for me. Again, sometimes I have to get out of the car and go into the fast food restaurant instead of using the drive-through, but no big deal. But anyways, this video is getting kind of long. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Cut it short here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you can think of that you experienced in your truck, and comment it down below, and I'll see you guys for the next video.